Today, we were going to talk about the Netflix TV show, How to Build a Sex Room. Have you watched it at all? You haven't watched it at all? Okay.
Not yet.
All right. So let me tell you
It's
all about it.
on
And
Netflix.
then everybody who's into the sound of my voice, you should watch at least an episode. But it's just a home decorating show. But what it shows couples is so what I love about the show is these are regular everyday couples. This is not housewives of the Potomac walking around saying, I want a sex room. No, these are regular everyday couples with everyday jobs with regular houses, like 3 bedroom, 2 bath, maybe 5 bedrooms, 4 baths, and one of them maybe. And they hired this designer to come in and create them a sex room based on kind of their flair, their flavor, their colors, their everything. And so, in a couple of them, she's putting in very exotic furniture, like that big like X that you get tied up to. Um, And but in some of them, it was just making the room more sensual, making the room more sensual. And so I love that show, and I've had some of my clients watch that show whose children or just life has taken over the master bedroom or the bedroom that they sleep. And one of my dear friends, at one point, her baby had the master bedroom, and her and her husband were in the guest bedroom. I was like, how did y'all just what happened?
No, no.
And so just what happened is she would fall asleep with the baby, I think, in the master, and the husband had to go to bed really early. He had to go to bed really early because he had to wake up really early. And so she would put the baby to sleep, and then it was just easier for her to just to go join her husband in the bedroom in the guest bedroom. And also the configuration of the house at that time was the guest bedroom was on the main floor and the
Mm,
master was upstairs, and they just felt like a little bit more protection. Somebody breaking this house who want all the kids upstairs and us downstairs. So I say that to say is life happens. I'm sorry, I feel like I got something in my mouth. I apologize. Life happens and it can often take over our bedroom. And then our bedroom, we're fighting for it for the practicality of it. With how do I get this laundry done? And this is the bed is the easiest way to throw the laundry out to get it folded up. It's a nice huge space, especially if you got a king size bed. You can do every
yep.
pile you want to pile. Like it's it. But all of these things then compete with having a romantic space to set up for intimacy in the relationship. So the how to build a sex room, what I loved about it, I think the most, I've probably said that 2, 3 times already, is it's everyday couples, but you can see, or it's an example of how do we make our intimate life a priority. So if we
Mhm.
give it a specific room, more than that, how do we make our together time a priority? And
Mm.
it doesn't even have to be like 100% sexy all the time. Can we get in there and play together? Can we get in there? Can we as a couple get in a room, lock ourselves in, and have fun in whatever way we want to have fun? Because that's really going to build a union. And so, just that idea of prioritizing your relationship and your intimacy, I think is so amazing.
Mhm.
And I love when sex has a component of play, and that Esther Perel says, and I think it's her book Mating Cat. I don't know. Who knows? She said it though. I'm sure it was Esther Perel. I don't know if she said it in a TED talk or she said it in in Captivity. But she wants sex to be a place couples go.
Mm.
So even if I'm in my regular bedroom, I want sex to be a place we go. We go together to have fun. We go together to connect. We go together to reunite. That's what a place that we go. And long as you can keep sex as a place that you go to, then you'll be able to keep the newness and the freshness about it. That because she also talked about looking at sex and intimacy with fresh eyes, like
Mhm.
changing your eyes and your eyesight about what's happening and what's going on and seeing it as this wonderful time to rejuvenate and reconnect and recharge. So, okay, I've said a lot.
Mhm. Well, I loved all of that. Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense. The only question that I have would be, I wonder how she would feel about um sex outside of that one place. I understand having a place to have sex.
Hmm.
Um, but I also think that having spontaneous sex is also lovely. Sex in the kitchen, sex
Yeah,
in the backyard when you have a closed-in fence.
say that part. Okay, so I think so. I don't know if I articulated myself well. So when Esther was talking about a place to go, she was talking about mentally, because you can go to
Mm,
that place anywhere, but
got
like
it.
a place we kind of metaphorically go as a couple together, where it's just you and me, our own
Mm,
little bubble. We go into our own little bubble, and so for many of us, though, bringing back in the show, How to Build a Sex Room is the idea that these particular couples also made it a physical real room, a
mm,
physical place. And this one couple, and this is on episode one, so you ain't even got to get far into the show. They had their sex room was like in the basement under like a hatch. And, and so it really made it like this secret place almost. And I get that. I actually had a basement like that. That was like just you
mm.
gotta like go down into like a dungeon. So it was a nice big like once you got down there, it was a nice size area. But it was a kind of like a go here and pull up the top and like crawl down and some really secret place. So all right. So shifting a little bit to practical advice for our couples. So
Interesting.
let's say they're in the middle of life, their
Hmm.
parents are living with them, their kids are living with them, there's no space in the house, they miss each other. And then they often find themselves like looking at each other across a room full of family. Like, oh, I miss you. What advice would you give them?
Mm. I feel like I need a little more context about this couple because
Okay.
I like the things that flashed in my mind were, okay, well, we need to plan date nights where parents are watching these kids and the couple is able to have some time. Or what is their bedroom like? Are the kids in the bed with them? We need to roll the kids up out of the bed. Like when does this couple have the opportunity to be alone? And then what are they choosing to do with that time? Which I'm sure they're choosing to go to sleep, which makes all the sense. Okay, so how do we get you to maintain your energy so that when that time comes, you can make it very productive? So that's what I mean by like I would ask the couple very specifics to explain, break down your day for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will work together to find little holes in that day
Yeah.
for intimate connection. Like just
Yeah. Yeah.
come together.
Mm-hmm. What's coming to mind is that it's I don't know if it's an iconic picture at this point, but there's a picture that comes across the internet, usually at the beginning of summer, where it's a massive calendar, and the parents are like, "How do we get all the kids out of the house at the same time?" Like, okay, if we take them to camp early and we pick them up late, would that give us a day to have none of the kids at the household? And I think that is what has to happen when you have
Yeah.
all of these moving parts. First, I think it has to be a conversation. Has to be a
Mm,
conversation. I'd like for you to start the conversation off nice and softly. I miss you. Can we figure out how to spend some time together? As opposed to, you ain't never got no time for me. You know I need sex. You know, blah, blah, blah. How dare you take your mama to the store to have sex with me? Mm-mm. No, 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 not going to do any of that. Nice and softly. I miss you.
mhm,
I want to spend time with you. When can we get on the calendar together? Anything like that that's nice and soft and inviting. Start there. Then it has to be
mhm,
a conversation. Then we got to plan it. We do. We need to say something with the plan. So we might need to look at everybody's calendar and figure it out. You may need to leave the house. I've had not a lot of couples because a lot that many people have like an extra $100 to go to the hotel every week. But I have had a couple of my couples that they have done a rendezvous at a local hotel for lunch, especially during COVID. I had at least two couples doing that during COVID because everybody was at the house. Like, there's no privacy, there's no anything, especially if you have a smaller house where the master bedroom has an ensuite and that's like a second
Mhm.
bathroom for the house. And
Mhm.
so locking the door just isn't practical if two people have to go to the bathroom at the same time. It just doesn't work. And so going to a hotel, going, like it's practical. Let's see, what other practical thing? I think just knowing that you're in the middle of life. If you're, we call that the sandwich generation. When you're taking care of your parents and taking care of the kids, and maybe even got somebody else living with you, your sister and her kids, right? That's the middle of life. It's going to be hard. It takes planning and patience for a couple to make it through that. And I think what I would love couples to do is not look at each other in anger or resentment or anything, but in compassion. I know you're doing the best you can, and I know I'm doing the best I can. And we still need to work on this aspect because it keeps falling off the train.
Mm.
And for some of my couples, and usually this is kind of like my speech in that last session where we're finishing up and I'm tapering them off and we're talking about relapse prevention and everything. I tell my couples, if you are a couple, when life gets hectic, sex falls off the train, then that will continue probably to be your thing. That when life gets hectic and it starts ripping and running, sex falls off the train. So you got to
Mhm.
get it back up. Every couple has something that falls off the train. It
Mhm.
might be the budget, like, oh, we spent $8,000 last month and we was supposed to spend four. Okay, let's rein it back in and get that back on the train. It might be healthy eating. Oh, we went to McDonald's 5 times last week. Oh, I don't want us eating like that. Okay, let's rein it back in. Let's go to the grocery store. Let's get back on the train. Um, Going to church, uh, participating in activities, like whatever falls off the train for you guys, like know yourselves and then make plans around that. So, okay, we know your mom just went in the hospital and the baby has brand new braces. We know sex is probably going to fall off the train. What can we do? We looking at it. We're going into the holiday season and your job has been having you travel every other weekend. This is going to be hectic. Sex is about to fall off the train. How can we prevent that? And just having little conversations like that will be so helpful. And again, we're inviting our partner. We're inviting them to come play. We're inviting them to come back to the sex room, proverbial or not, as opposed to fussing at them for not being there, for not showing up, for not giving me something that you know I need, that I can only get from you. And you're going to be mad if I go get it from somebody else. So, that. All
Yes. So
right. All right.
thought of, um, I wanted to add to that, um, because I kind of thought of client rebuttals while
Mm-hmm.
you
Oh,
were
yeah.
giving
Give them
your
to me. Give
list.
them
I
to
was
me.
thinking,
Mm-hmm.
um, and so I think the overarching tip that I would give is to remember or like consciously switch your mind back to when you were dating this person, when this was a fresh relationship. Because when the relationship is fresh and you ain't been having no sex, you horny, right? You're not gonna go to this person and I
Mm-hmm.
need some sex. You're not gonna
Mm-hmm.
go to them like that. You're gonna go
Right.
to them softly. You're gonna go to them offering sex. You're going to make the environment sexy. You're gonna make yourself sexy. You're gonna feel sexy. And
Mm-hmm.
somehow between, first couple sexual experiences to married for 7 years, that just gets lost. And so I just wanted to like have that conscious switch of like, I'm gonna go entice my person
Mm-hmm.
because I want sex.
Mm-hmm.
And if I pull out all my frustration, I'm definitely not gonna get it. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to do what's going to get me what I want.
Yeah.
Um, Another one you said was, oh goodness, goodness, goodness.
Okay,
Oh,
can I say something while you're thinking, or am I going to throw you
yeah,
off?
you
Okay.
probably gonna throw me off, but hey,
Okay. I just want to say, like, the art of seduction, it is an art, and it's an art that I would love for our couples to keep practicing
yeah.
as the relationship goes on. I would love for it to turn from an art to a skill in
Hmm.
which you have fine tuned and perfected over the lifespan of the relationship because you get better and better and better and better. And at the
Hmm.
end, you know exactly how to, sorry, I got my hand up. You know exactly how to seduce your partner effectively and efficiently to get you guys to that very sexy place. And I
Hmm.
think I would hypothesize that my clients forget all about that.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's the idea to say it very practically. Um, well, I bought the cow. I shouldn't have to pay for the milk anymore. I shouldn't have to do
Hmm.
any work to get the milk. I bought the cow. I bought the cow. I bought the cow.
Hmm.
I did what I was supposed to do. So it should just be happening.
Yeah.
Yes, you did buy the cow. You still have to milk the cow to get the milk out of the cow. So excellent job. You bought the cow. It is now in your barn. And now you are now required, because you bought the cow, now you are required to feed the cow, to upkeep the cow, to milk the cow, to do whatever you got to do to get that milk from the cow onto your table so you can drink and enjoy it. So that's a
Hmm.
whole word right there. I need to put
Hmm.
that right there just by that
Hmm.
self. Mm-hmm.
No, absolutely is. Absolutely. And I've seen that a lot in my clients. They just expect for sex to just happen and be.
Right.
And it's definitely not that easy. It's
Nothing.
definitely not that easy. It's something that has to be actively worked on. Um,
Can we say
I,
that in
hmm?
capital letters that it has to be actively worked on? Yeah.
It has to be actively worked on. That's my
Thank you.
capital letters.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. I also thought I just remembered you said, sometimes it's not practical to have a space to have sex.
Mm-hmm.
And um I would I'm a goofy person. I don't know, but like I would challenge my couples to have sneaky sex because sneaky sex
Yeah.
is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, like the kids are downstairs watching a movie, and the movie is a Pixar movie, so it's gonna take at least 2.5 hours. You can, run upstairs and go in this closet real quick, or you could
Right.
lock that bathroom and with the master bedroom and the ensuite. Ain't nobody coming up there right now. And if they do, in a minute, it's just like sneaky sex.
Mm-hmm. So that's a good idea. So maybe if you can't have a whole sex room, can you have a sex closet? What do we need to make this a sex closet? Do we need to maybe
Yes.
put some handles right here,
Yep.
reinforce this shelf right here? Like
Yep.
what we need to do to
And
make
then
this a
we
sex?
all right.
There we go. Couple of
And then we
little
all right.
brackets right here. There we go.
5, 6 minutes.
We got a
five,
sex
six
closet.
minutes. And then it's like, babe, I want to. Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
ooh. So it's kind of adding that spontaneity back, even though you're in
Yeah.
the middle of a hectic life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember the other rebuttal because you said to have the conversations and to plan
Mm-hmm.
sex. And what I've heard from many of people is that, oh, that kills it. It's a killjoy. And I'm going to confirm that, yes, it can be. It absolutely can be. What I would say to that is when you have the conversation, you don't have to jump right into having sex right afterwards. Because I get having a conversation about sex makes it a little clinical. You don't, it's like, but you have an understanding now.
Mm-hmm.
You're clear on what your partner's needs and desires are now. And so the next time the opportunity does come, you just take action instead of talking. You just do what your partner wanted them to do, or you do what you said you were going to do. And then it's going to feel different. It kind of lifts that whole, well, we had to talk about it. So if we have to talk about it, something's wrong. It kind of gives you time to lift that veil and then to actually have
Yeah.
sex and enjoy it.
So when I say at the very least, I won't speak for all sex therapists, but I'm speaking for the majority of them. When we say schedule it, we don't mean show up to the bed, both of y'all on either side, naked. Okay, it's 2 o'clock.
I'm
All right.
here.
Okay. What I would like to happen when I'm asking my clients to schedule it is I'm asking them to schedule a specific time where they're only going to concentrate on each other. Preferably at least 1 hour. 90 minutes is probably a little bit better. I would like for it to start with a fabulous connecting conversation. If you are a couple that partakes in any type of substance that may lubricate that conversation, that might be a good time to do that, depending on the day. I'm not asking anybody to do whiskey shots at lunchtime. Please understand. Be understanding and respectful of what's going on in your life. But if there's a time when you could schedule this and we could have some type of lubricating substance that would help ease the conversation, that would be great. And then from that conversation, where it's like, oh, I remember why I like you. It's like, you're really fun to talk to. Like, once we get into that vibe, then somebody can touch something, somebody can rub something. Well, we in this vibe. Let me rub your feet. And then let's see where that goes. Or, you know what? You need a shoulder rub. And let the touching begin. And then from there, we can roll into something more. Or maybe that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so for some of my couples, and I've had a lot of couples lately, and we've just been talking about just laying naked together.
Mm-hmm.
So that also might be a good, if you just time is crunched and you just got to show up at the bed naked and jump in the bed because both of y'all got 2:30 appointments and it's 2 o'clock. Okay, can we take the pressure off a little bit? Get in the bed and just lay together naked and talk for a minute. How you doing? What's going on with you? Tell me about you. Then maybe we'll add a little rubbing, and then we can see what happens with loving and caressing. And that's what we're asking for. We're asking just did you be purposeful and intentional? And I would like to remind everybody that when you were dating, you were scheduling sex. You very much was. We're gonna go out on Saturday night. I'm gonna be dressed. I'm gonna be cute. Everything's gonna be washed, shaved, dyed, fried, laid to the side, whatever it has to be, so that
Yep.
if it happens, I'll be ready.
I'm
And that's
ready.
the same thing I'm asking is for you to set up the stage so that it can happen and that you can be ready. That's what I'm asking for.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Lovely.
yes,
Lovely.
that's what we're asking. And I get that scheduling it throws it off, but it's only 7 days. First of all, scheduling can be really sexy because it gives you something to anticipate. Like on Wednesday, I'm gonna see my baby. Okay, yes, you just saw last night, but this is like your dating partner, your
Mm-hmm.
marital partner, like your partner. So being excited, looking at it with anticipation, I think that is set aside, continuing to celebrate that we are prioritizing each other would be really
Mm-hmm.
great in that whole schedule again. And what I was saying, it's only 7 days in a week. So even if y'all didn't schedule it, by the time you take your mama to the doctor on Mondays and take the kid to the soccer practice on Tuesdays, go to church on Wednesdays, we got to go back to soccer practice on Thursdays, on Friday it's pizza night, and we do this, you only wind up with about 2 times y'all could actually be available, awake, and aware to have sex anyway.
Right.
So because we put it on the calendar to make sure it happens on Saturday night, now we
Mm-hmm.
upset when it was on. If it was gonna happen, it was gonna happen on Saturday night anyway. So people get in their heads too much. They
And I would
romanticize it too
add,
much.
yes, I would add that it's okay to
Mm-hmm.
be the one in the relationship who schedules it.
Yeah.
If it's easier for you to wrap your head around scheduling it, then schedule it in your mind and then just do it. And then your partner is not thinking about it being scheduled. It's just
Perfect.
happening for them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if that's the case, try not to get I can imagine someone getting frustrated with that. Like, well, I'm willing to do it and they're not willing to do it. I get that too,
Mm-hmm.
but it's okay
It's okay.
because the end result is we're trying to have sex.
Yeah.
And so if you can put that in your mind and be comfortable and happy with it, then that's something that you can give to your partner. You can give them the spontaneity of presumed
Mhm.
presumed
Right.
spontaneity, but
You
you're
can.
actually
You can.
scheduling it.
That's true.
Hmm.
That's such a good point. That's such a good point. I'm not even going to elaborate on it, even though I want to,
Yay.
because it was just an excellent point. I really wish more people would do that.
It's a
You
practical.
do all these other things without your partner knowing.
Exactly. You plan all these other things without your partner knowing.
Surprise! We're going on
So,
vacation next week.
right.
Pretty big one.
So
Right?
it's
So,
okay.
so surprise! Here we go. We're
It's
about to have sex.
okay.
Go in the room.
Right.
Do
Here
it.
I am. Ooh,
Right?
shiny and oily. Let's go.
Nobody needs to know this has been on the calendar for 2 months because you had a doctor's appointment this morning
Exactly.
and you wasn't gonna have time to cook dinner. Like nobody needs to know that. Just they can do what
Exactly.
they do. So okay, all right, that's our time today. I've had a wonderful time. Wonderful time.
Yay.
Do you have Netflix? Will you be able to watch the show? I need to get my
I do. There's a reason why I haven't watched the show, and I'm going to tell it to you off live. But it's not a valid reason. It's just
Okay, well, just go watch the first episode. That's all you got to
okay.
watch, and you'll just get you an idea. Because I think when you hear about it, you think, "Oh, it's gonna be all like, I don't know." It's not. This is a regular old lady. You would never think she was like a sex room designer, and these are regular people, like regular as regular can be people. So, all right, have a great day.
You too.
All right, bye.